Let's get ready to rumble!
Hello and welcome to an emergency version of They Don't Make... Oh no, that's the wrong podcast. Welcome to the emergency version of Netflix versus cinema. Oh my god, I'm getting really nostalgic of my old age. Welcome to Netflix versus cinema. My name is Tosin. I am the host, based up in Coventry in the Midlands near Coventry. For goodness sake. Joining me on the Isle of Wight are two people who have pretty much been bullied by me. I've called in all my birthday favors to pull you guys in on my birthday to talk to me about films. And this is Sharon.
Hello.
And Sean.
Hiya. First
of all, I want to say thank you very much for letting me bully you guys and play the birthday card and say, hey guys, go, you want to come in and we need to finish this date off, we need to finish this up. It's my birthday, you got to say yes.
And we said yes.
And we said yes.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Happy birthday.
Why, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm not sure whether it's like anything... I feel like there's something a little bit sad about this, that I think it's my birthday, and there's few things I would rather do on my birthday than sit down with the two of you and talk about films incessantly. Is that sad?
No, not at all. I don't think anything's sad, really.
Yeah,
for me. And I mean, it's not sad.
I think that's what being grown up is. You can choose what you want to do.
That's it.
Yeah,
it's my party, and talk films if I want to. Films if I want to. You would talk films if it happened to you.
Cool. I'm glad you guys think that, because I thought that even if it's sad, quite frankly, I don't care. So. And you guys are in a new location today, aren't you?
Yes, we are. We're using in my church, we're in one of the buildings we own at the back of the church. We call it the homestead, because there's a house that predates our church by a couple of 100 years.
It's like there's the old campfires and people with banjos.
Yeah, we're singing Kumbaya.
Yeah.
I'm not quite.
No, not quite. No.
But yeah, we're in one of the rooms that would normally be used. So I've booked it for this evening.
Excellent.
Oh, cool. Awesome. So this is the church with the church ladies group, who we heard about with the nipples last week, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, we have quite a lot of groups going on in the church. So that's one of the ones I'm involved in.
Oh, right. Oh, cool. Good stuff. And, yes, so we'll carry on with this, because the last one, when we were talking about the things that we had seen over Christmas, we ran out of time because we had essentially seen too much. So we're going to continue this and finish that off, because as the year moves on, we're not really going to have time to stop and go back to this or add these things in, because the film world doesn't stop just because we missed a podcast. But before we do, I would just like to say I promised I would do this, and I would say a quick shout out to Cindy Drennan, who is a friend of mine, who I talk about. You know how I spoke about just thinking about nothing else I would rather do on my birthday than sit down and talk about films.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cindy she started doing this thing. She started doing it a couple of years ago because she's an avid runner. So they decided that for her birthday, a whole bunch of people were going to get together and they were going to run 1 kilometer for every single year she has been born. And
oh, crikey.
Yes. Yes. So this Sunday I was in London. This Saturday, this weekend past, I was in London. I wasn't running, but I was being a part of the cycle support crew, along with superfan Nina, my wife Claudia, and and we were running. They were running along with Will, Nina's husband, Cindy, and another guy called Tony, who's a crazy mad fit person who does all this running. So I thought I'll mention about the Cindathon. I'll say happy birthday, Cindy. She managed to make it. She made it all the way to the end. But that is, as she's getting older and older, it is getting closer and closer to a full marathon.
I said, well, I hope she's sort of 18 or something. My goodness, it'll be.
I know. No.
18 or 19 is like anything beyond that. It's like, yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't want to run a mile or kilometre for every my age.
No,
probably even your age either, Toes. In fact, yeah.
I would have to walk it over several days.
I said, yeah. That's Probably take me a whole year.
Yes, I know. Well, I think she wouldn't like me to say how old she is, but let me just say she is not 18. So, so there were a few broken bodies by the end of Saturday. There were a few, but funnily enough, I think most of that crew, there is talk at the moment of us coming down to the island for Walk the White.
Ooh, that's
cool. Okay.
Yeah, so coming down to the island on the 10th of May, we're thinking of making a whole weekend out of it, going for the park run on the island, then going to do Walk the White on the Sunday, sorry. So yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, it would be nice to actually get those guys.
I've done that a few times. That's a challenging walk.
It is a challenging walk
because it's all up and down. It's a lot of up and downing.
Yeah,
and it's quite challenging.
I remember the one time I did it, I finished it off and I was like, oh cool, that's pretty cool. My legs are fine. And then I sat down on a bus to take the bus ride back into Newport and then tried to stand up again.
Yeah, big mistake.
And that was it.
Yeah, I think that's a shared experience of Walk the White. As by the time you get back to Newport, you are incapable of getting off the bus.
Yeah,
you just can't move.
Yeah,
I had to call my brother to pick me up literally from the door of the bus because I was going to walk home, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll walk home. I've just walked 28 miles. I can walk home half a mile. And no, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So I had to call him and say, could you come and get me? It was crazy.
Yeah. And and one more thing as well, because I'm part of like 3 of my friends. So today is the 14th of January. That is my birthday. And on the 13th of January, I've got a friend who was born essentially a day before me. And I've got a friend who was also born a day after me. So it had been arranged for that something which I thought it was just for the 2 of them ended up being for the 3 of us, and we had like a shared cake or anything on Saturday night where the 3 of us came together and people sort of sang happy birthday to us, and it was pretty cool with friends from school.
Oh, lovely.
Nice.
So I wanted to say happy birthday to Ben Hudson for yesterday and happy birthday to Shahid Pierre for tomorrow. So yeah, it's also like all birthdayed out. I'm all nice and lovely. But what film related stuff have you guys done for your birthday in the past?
In the past, I've often done a meal and a film. So, because my birthday's in February, often it's a mixed bag because it's sort of slap bang when St. Valentine's Day is. Yeah. But I have done a sing along with Grease for my birthday party.
Ooh.
And Sean, you came to that one.
I did.
And I have done Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. That was one of the birthday films I did. So I like to sort of do
I was
a bit
around
of
for
both,
that one.
but yeah. You came to Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, yeah.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
So I tried to do something of the sort.
Well, for me, the big birthdays, obviously it's one this year, I've got a cousin, Glenn, and we were born on the same day.
Oh, wow.
And yes, oh, wow. So we've celebrated all the eventful birthdays like the 18th, the 21st. In fact, there's only been it's when I was on my travels, when I was away, that we haven't spent our birthdays together, or at least seen some each other. We've had some big parties. We've had some you just normally get a hall. So yeah, and I mean, there's going to be one in Bournemouth. So if you're about, and that's going to be on the 16th of May. So it's the week after Walk the White.
Ooh.
So because it's a big one, and it's a karaoke one because we love the karaoke.
Aye.
So the last one we did was a karaoke one. But if you come, everybody has to do a song.
Everyone has to sing.
If you're invited, you have to pick a song, and they have to do a song.
You are speaking my language, Sean. You
have to, yeah. Everybody. So no matter who you are, even if you never ever want to do or never done it in your life, you have to get up there. Sometimes you get up and do a bit of support. Someone will come up and support. So that's like the deal. So yeah, film-wise, birthdays. What have I done? I'm sure I must have done. Well, I might have gone to see something like. Oh yeah, I did do a IMAX version of one birthday. I couldn't even remember the film because it was such a long time ago. But there was a little bunch of. I think it might have been. I can't remember because it was a drunken film. So I went out with some friends and all that. So I'm sure we did a film and we did a lot of other stuff that I don't really want to talk about. But partying and stuff. So yeah. So that was that one.
Were you those guys in the cinema that everybody's like, oh my god, it's them?
Yeah. Oh my god, no, yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, yeah, we were because it would have been like we went out for the day. But it was in Southampton actually. We went out for the day, and then we go, let's go to so we went to Pictures, and we went to the casino. So we went to the Pictures, and I remember we went to the casino, and we were out really, really late, and so it's one of those. But I was young then. I wouldn't like to do it these days. Young. I was a young man.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it now. I could probably go to about 10 o'clock, I suppose.
I'll tell you what, 10 o'clock, go for a nap and then go for a midnight screening.
Do you know, I've done that. Do you know, if I go to midnight screenings now, and this is the thing, I've decided.
You have to have a nap first.
So what I do is about 8 o'clock, I go blackout room, I put the alarm on to wake up at 11 o'clock. Because, like I said, I watched the Justice League the other day. When I saw that at the midnight showing, I didn't really enjoy it. But I thought it was okay when I saw it recently. Well, I said to you, in fact, I thought it was pretty damn good. So I've decided that now, and I did that with the Godzilla film, Godzilla King of Monsters. I was a little bit disappointed with that, but at least I was awake, because I think if you go the whole day or see one of those marathon films, for me now, if it's late, and I mean, even now sometimes if I go to the cinema, I can feel my eyes dropping. Yeah. Like Murder on the Orient Express. So, you know what I mean? And Lost City of Z and all those sort of films. I nearly thought it, but then I probably wasn't tired. They're just so dull. So I just was bored with them.
All right, cool.
Oh dear, that's not bad. That's not good, is it?
Have you guys ever heard of a board game called Seen It?
Yes.
It's like
I used to have the Twilight Seen It.
Yeah.
I won it in a competition.
Because I remember having the original Seen It. And when I found out about it, for my birthday one year, I invited a whole bunch of my friends around to my house, and we played Seen It. And it's gone down in legend because we played it a couple of times, and eventually they went, all right, that's it. Tosin's in a group on his own. Tosin is he's in a team on his own, and I played. It was me versus everybody else, and everybody else was about 20 people or something like that. And they still talk about it today, how on the board game, they said I had to go around the board twice before I was allowed to finish, and I still did it and beat them all. And since then, nobody will play with me. So
none of them will play.
None of them will play with me. So it became this whole thing where it's like we only play Seen It once, and that's on Tosin's birthday. That's only when he's allowed, because he duped us.
What was it? Was it movies or like TV shows?
It's all movies,
isn't it?
All movies. Oh, right,
you can get different special editions. Right, I had the Twilight special edition, so it's mainly about Twilight films.
I saw a Friends one that advertised once like that.
They're doing special edition ones. You can get the general.
There's a James Bond one. There's a general one. There's a Harry Potter one. I have the general one and the Disney one.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you trounced me on that one.
Yes, that's gonna be that. That's gonna be it for you, Sharon. I'll be like, Sharon, would you like to come to my house? Yes, we're gonna play Disney Seen It. But all right. Anyway, enough of random rambling. Which I do enjoy, but yeah, we do have films to talk about. So we have 4 films that we have to finish up from the last, from the ones that we were talking about last week. So we have The Gentleman, which Sean, you saw.
I saw, yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping to see it before we got this, but I didn't. But it's okay because I feel as if in the last one I did way too much talking anyway. We did Spies in Disguise, which I've seen, and then on Netflix we have Virgin River, which Sharon you've seen.
Yeah.
And His Dark Materials, which I've seen. Oh man, it's me again.
I've seen that as well.
Oh, you see?
It's you again.
Yay!
I've seen His Dark Materials as well. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Not just me.
Oh, you managed to catch that. That's good then.
All right.
So cool. Yeah, but we did go and see a film called Seabird,
which we're going to do for this week's show.
Oh, we're doing it this week's show. Yeah.
Oh, Seabird
on Thursday.
So we have
Seabird. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Cool. That means we have 4 films this Thursday. Cool. No problem. Good. All right. So Sean, would you? That's another film that didn't come up here.
I think it's. I don't know if it's going to be here for long, but no. It came out of nowhere.
Yeah, but at least it was there.
Yeah.
Because I think I saw the poster of that somewhere, but it's not around in my. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna sit down here and sulk and talk about how my local cinemas don't bring in everything, and you get more films on the Isle of Wight than you do in my local cinema. Well, Sean, you tell us about The Gentleman.
Okay, The Gentleman. So this is Guy Ritchie film. So you can imagine what it's going to be like. It's going to be a load of like Cockney accents, Cockney geezers talking along. You know what I mean? Have some of that. So there's basically. Guy Ritchie story. So the story is you have this like investigative reporter bloke, and he turns up at Charlie Hunnam's place, and he's trying to blackmail them. So with the story, so he's basically trying to blackmail him, really in a roundabout sort of way.
Yeah.
And the blackmailer, the reporter, is played by Hugh Grant. He's got he's like, and it's not a plummy accent, he's like, ooh, he's like, ooh, geezery.
He's a Hugh Grant, the geezer.
Yeah. Now Charlie Hunnam, I don't know. See, I don't rate him at all.
He was very good in Sons of Anarchy.
Was he?
Yeah.
He wasn't very good in Lost City of Z. Was it him in Lost City of Z?
Yeah.
Was he in Lost City of Z?
It was him in Lost City of Z, yeah.
What else has he been in? Tell me some other stuff.
Triple Frontier.
Yeah, that wasn't quite so good.
Triple Frontier, yeah, he was one of the mercenaries.
Triple Frontier, yeah. Did he get killed? Yeah, he probably did.
No,
anyway,
he didn't.
No?
I think he was one of the ones who didn't get killed.
Anyway, I'm going off on one of my tangents, the students really going to get me up. So, anyway, go back. So Charlie Hunnam, which I don't rate him. I'm sorry, I just can't rate him as an actor. So yeah, so it starts off. They're in Charlie Hunnam's place, a nice place, and they're just having a chat. And then it flips and flops a bit between different things that have gone on, and you get to see the story of,
Matthew McConaughey's character.
Matthew McConaughey, who's like this kingpin that's come over to London, and he's got this big business, and he's trying to sell it. And you've got this Jewish guy, and you've got some other dudes that are all trying to, and it's all one of those ones that all bits and pieces, but then sort of starts to come together at the end.
Well, yeah, so like the Guy Ritchie sort of template, the Guy Ritchie trope.
That's it. Yeah, that's it exactly. So one character I really did like was Matthew McConaughey's wife. I couldn't tell you who the actress is.
Michelle Dockery.
But Michelle Dockery. She was
from Downton Abbey.
Was she from Downton Abbey?
Yeah.
But she was totally not Downton Abbey. Well, I don't know what part.
And she was in Godless as well, that miniseries, the Western miniseries.
Oh right, okay. I never saw that either. I don't think. So, yeah. So I mean, she was fantastic. She was really good. But then you've got all the geezers talking and shouting. There's a bit of violence, like there always is in these.
Yeah.
A few red herrings, a few things that you think have happened, but when it comes back, you haven't seen the whole thing, so you don't know what has happened. I mean, it's a good fun,
Guy
Ritchie film.
Yeah,
I would say. I mean, with Guy Ritchie, it's really, really funny because did he do Layer Cake? I mean,
no. That wasn't Guy Ritchie. That was Matthew Vaughn.
He did Lock, Stock.
Yeah, I've seen Lock, Stock and Snatch. And
then did the Sherlock Holmes.
People love those movies. Now, I don't mind them, and they're okay movies, but I don't think they're. I get people say to me, "Oh, best British movie ever, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels." It's been emotional, and to me. It's all right. It's fun. It's all right. But
Sherlock, he did the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlocks.
The Robert Downey Jr. Sherlocks, did he? I haven't seen them.
You have.
Yes. So, Sean, you were saying something about Guy Ritchie. I actually want to hear what you're going to say about Guy Ritchie.
Guy Ritchie movies. Was he married to Madonna at one time?
Yeah.
He was married to Madonna at one time. Yeah. So yeah, you were saying Guy Ritchie movies. People think that they're awesome, best British movie ever, but you think.
Yeah, I think that none of them. I think they're overrated, Tosin. I think I mean some of these films I think are overrated. I mean it's an okay film. It's an okay film. I'm not going to say it's not bad. I was quite entertained. It was quite enjoyable, but nothing really new. I was expecting something new. Just typical Guy Ritchie. Geezers.
You see, though, this is the thing, right? I always feel like a Guy Ritchie movie. I think a Guy Ritchie movie is at its best, and what I expect from a Guy Ritchie movie is kind of like sitting in a pub, probably an East End pub, and some guy sitting down there and telling you a yarn and telling you about, oh yeah, so I went over here and I did this thing and this thing happened, and Mickey Two Eyes, you know what he did, and I feel like that's what his films are like. They're like, a yarn that a friend tells you in a pub that you may have heard it 1,000 times before, but usually it's in the telling of it. So I don't expect anything groundbreaking, but as long as the telling is entertaining, I think it's a yarn.
Yeah.
It's not going to win an award.
Yeah.
It's not going to break the bank, but it will be an entertaining yarn.
Oh yeah, but I must also one character I must mention is Colin Farrell. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because he's he's Irish. He's like an Irish. He's got like a like boxing.
Really
He teaches
Irish,
boys to box, right? So yeah, I know he is Irish, but he plays like he's got the old glasses up. He's like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Proper, real broad Irish accent. And he runs a boxing club, and with a bunch of youngsters that. So there's you like little gang that do stuff, and obviously they make a mistake doing stuff. So that you get that little mistakey bit in there, and he has to. So he turns up and he goes, we're real sorry about my balls. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in an Irish sort
of an Irish accent. I can't do an Irish accent for me, Shannon.
How about you?
Yeah, Begorra. Oh, Michael. No, anyway. Sorry, that's bad. And I shouldn't do stuff.
That's what we do at work when we have...
Sorry, yeah. I've only just finished work, so if I seem like I'm a bit spaced out, it's just that I've only just finished work and come straight here. So,
so in the end, how many stars would you give it?
Three stars.
Oh, 3 stars.
Three stars for me, yeah.
Yeah, but it's cool.
It's fun, you know what I mean? It's a strong 3 stars. It's worth a watch, but it's nothing new. There's nothing new in there. But it's entertaining film, so 3 stars.
Yeah.
Didn't sort of give me the wow factor and think, that was good. But some of the acting was absolutely good. Even Matthew McConaughey, but Charlie Hunnam wasn't. He was flat and wooden. Sorry for the Charlie Hunnam fans there.
No, I've got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you, Sean. I do share a little bit of that when it comes to Charlie Hunnam. It's like I haven't seen Sons of Anarchy, but from everything I've heard, Sons of Anarchy is where he was at his absolute best. Because everybody always says Sons of Anarchy, but everything else I've seen him in, I've kind of felt. I don't really buy it because I think he was in Queer as Folk. He was in the original Queer as Folk.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
and he did, I think, an early version of not David Copperfield, the other one, Nicholas Nickleby. I think he did.
Yeah.
Sharon, you've had a bit of a funny look. You obviously quite like him.
I quite like him. Yeah,
I thought you would. Yeah, I can see. It's that rock. It's that secret pleasure Rocky look that Sharon's got.
Yes, I have that. Yeah, he has a twinkle, I think.
There you go. Okay. There's his appeal.
Okay, so Sharon, okay, here it is. Charlie Hunnam beard, Charlie Hunnam no beard. Which one does it for you?
Oh, actually, I think he suits a beard.
Yeah.
I think he can wear a beard quite well. He does have a well-turned ankle. I can't deny it.
Oh, bless you. I could see your face as we were talking about. I could see Sharon's face again.
Why are you so mean about him?
Yeah, why are you so mean? He's a little cutie. I tell you what, I went to see it with Jennifer, and she was exactly the same. She thought he was really, really nice looking. So
yeah, he did.
So
can't deny it.
So.
Yeah. The thing is, I'm still waiting for something that I watch him in that makes me go, oh, now I get it. A bit like how when I said with Marriage Story, when I saw Adam Driver, I was like, now I get it. But before that, and also the other thing I'll say is that it's actually quite nice to hear that Colin Farrell gets to be Irish because it's been ages.
He's often American.
It's been absolutely ages since he's gotten to be Irish in anything, and I think the last time I saw him being Irish on screen was Ballykiss. Not Ballykiss Angel. There was an episode of Scrubs. In which he was Irish. And
it was in Scrubs. Yeah, it's Lothario, wasn't he?
He was.
Kissed all the girls, basically.
Yeah, but before that, the last time I seen him being Irish was in Ballykiss Angel, which was the first time I ever saw him. So
yes.
So all right, we now go over to the Netflix thing, and we are going to talk Virgin River. Now, Sharon, you have seen this.
Yes, this is again one of those new series that kept popping up, so you can't actually get through to anything else unless you either sit through the trailer or you watch it. So I thought, I'm going to give in and watch it, and it wasn't actually as bad as I thought it was going to be. I was worried it was going to be a bit soapy.
Because I've got to be honest with you, the synopsis that they write and the auto trailer that starts playing before you have a chance to say no make this look terrible.
Yeah, it just reminded me a little bit of a Hallmark Christmas film.
Exactly.
And you know what they're like.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It's of its type, and I mean, I have to say, I'll just tell you what it's about. Basically, a woman who's a nurse practitioner from Los Angeles, for reasons that aren't disclosed at the beginning of the series, decides that she's going to take a break from city life and move into the country. So she gets a job as a nurse practitioner in a rural community in Northern California, which to me looked like which is a Western town. They were like driving trucks and wearing cowboy hats and stuff.
You don't know which Northern, or was it a fictional? Was it a fictional?
Northern, it's Virgin River is the name of the town.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's Northern California. So it's not quite sequoias, but it's that sort of, it's very rural, and they have like ranches, and it's all like quite a Western feel about it.
Sonoma and all that. It's lovely there. Northern California, actually. It's one of my favourite.
But it couldn't be more removed from socially or sociologically from economically, I meant to say, from Los Angeles. So it's a completely different. So she wanted to get away from her. And as the series develops, I think it's something like 8 or 10 episodes. You see in flashback why she's left her old life, and the reasons why she's trying to find a new life in Virgin River. Yeah. So basically, it's very episodic, but there's the odd theme running through it. And one of the themes, there's a bit of a sort of, there's like drama of the week, where one week it's like an abandoned baby, one week it's like a power cut, and another week there's a cannabis plantation that's run on like an industrial scale quite nearby, an illegal cannabis plantation, which there's an element of like crime in there. So, but it is basically about her and the unfolding story of her life and why she's decided to say goodbye to her family, her friends, and move into this rural community. Yeah. And then there's a bit of romance in there, and there's a bit of jeopardy in there, as you're thinking, well, hang on a minute, as you sort of try to piece together what's happening in flashback and then what's happening in the present. Yeah. So it's very much it's of a type, that city woman moves to the country and falls in love with a country boy. And again, he isn't as quiet as you see him. He's like a veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan, so he has issues, and the people he employs are ex-veterans as well. So there's elements to it, but it is basically like a better quality version of a Hallmark film. Yeah, there's not a lot of jeopardy in there.
There was a TV show called Men in Trees with Anne Hedge, which seems to have the exact same premise, only that it's Alaska instead of Northern California.
Yes, I think there is. I've read books about this sort of thing where women sort of, I think it's the old Alaska Men type thing going back to the 80s, where city women sort of escape to the country and find like a real man.
You've lost your eyes then, Sharon.
But I think it's one of those. It's a fantasy, isn't it? It's a fantasy trope that I think Americans are particularly fond of.
Is it a romance?
There is romance in it, but I wouldn't say it was only a romance. It is about her finding herself again, having
no Twin Peaks
drama in the background. No, there's nothing sort of supernatural there or creepy. So yeah, it's entertaining for what it was worth. I must admit, I tended to have something on hand when I was watching it. It didn't entirely grip my attention. Yeah. So I tended to pick up a bit of sewing or knitting, or I had my book in one hand. So if it got a bit quiet, I'd try to read a bit of my book at the same time. So it's that sort of thing. It's entertaining, but it's not engrossing, and it's not compulsive viewing. Yeah. But it's harmless for all of that. So sometimes you want harmless television every now and then.
You do.
So I would say, it's if you want harmless, easy to watch view with the odd moments of drama, then yes, it's perfectly acceptable. I would give it though a 3-star. I don't think it would weigh any more than that. But yeah, it is what it says on the tin, really. I don't think anyone who watches it will have any shocks or surprises.
Or you don't think anybody's going to be watching it going, hang on a second, I was expecting Ibsen. What is this?
Yeah, what is this? No. Well, yes, and there's not hardly any rivers in it. So, but no, it's not. But there's no fishing. But no, it's yes, for all it is, it's. I think I don't think you'll be in for any major surprises if you watched it. Yeah, it's a reasonable cast, well acted, for this time. I mean, you can spot a mile away what's going to happen. It's like going, oh yeah, he's going to be her sort of fella, and he's going to start off grumpy, but then he'll warm up to her later on, and then there's characters, so it's.
Does he have a decoy fellow as well?
Yes, sort of, yes, where you get a bit of a red herring. To be honest with you, it reminded me a little bit of Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, but set in present day and like brought up to date. But it has that sort of vibe about it, a fish out of water who then becomes, goes native almost. So it's that That's mixing metaphors quite dreadfully, but it is that sort of thing.
Well, no, but this is something that's actually because I think this is the kind of thing that if we stayed here, we could probably keep talking about things that it's like or that it reminds us of. Like, there's a film called Doc Hollywood with Michael J. Fox, where he's on his way to go to Hollywood to become a plastic surgeon, but he crashes his car in some small town, and he has to stay there until his car gets fixed and pay off his debt for all the damages caused by being the local doctor until the new doctor arrives. And it sounds exactly the same. Like, there's a love interest.
Yeah, I think it is.
And then he realizes, all my big city ways, maybe going back to nature. And I think we could sit here and it makes me wonder whether there's just like a need that it's a basic story. And there's a film we'll be talking about on Thursday, which I think it's a basic story that has been told so many times over and over again. But almost as if every now and then you need to be reminded about that story because there might be a new generation who didn't know about Doc Hollywood or Men in Trees or Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman or anything like that. Yeah,
that these are. Yeah, it's hard. It is quite old-fashioned, really. Yeah. But yeah, there's obviously a need for that. I suppose where there's more and more people who live in urban environments who don't have that village community, who don't have that small-town life where they get to know everyone and there's no secrets and there's, it's only a step away from a lovely scenic view. I mean, we have that on the Isle of Wight, so it's not something that we aspire to. But I think people do aspire to these things, yeah. This sort of escape to the country, but in fiction.
Wouldn't do it for me.
No, I wouldn't have said that you'd want to watch it, Sean.
And especially now, I mean, Sean, as you have said, that there's just so much other stuff to watch that it's a bit sad because it means that it stops you sort of taking chances on something that you might end up liking because you're kind of like you end up watching something that has more of a chance of you being interested in it. But hey, so 3 stars for Virgin River.
Yes.
3 stars for Virgin River. I felt like there was something else I was going to talk about, but never mind. If I can't remember, it cannot have been that important. Now, that was Sharon. You have spoken about a show before called The Detectorist, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, I love that film, that program. Love it.
All right, cool, yeah, because superfan Nina's husband, Will, was talking to me about it, and he was just raving. And Will doesn't watch much, but what he watches, he likes. And he was kind of like The Detectorist. Oh, my God, it's so good. And he couldn't quite put it into words, but I thought that that might be something I'm going to have to start watching. All right.
Oh, I would recommend it entirely. I think it's the best British television program that's been made in the last decade, easily.
Oh, wow.
It's great. It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, I will see clips of it and I will start laughing in anticipation of a bit that's coming up. And often it's just one scene or one look, and I'm just falling about.
Is it comedy?
It's funny and it's tragic. It's got everything in it.
Oh, wow.
I can't say highly enough of it. I think it's a great thing. But yeah, there's some bits where I keep showing my brothers if they happen to be in the room. I say, look, what's this bit? And I'll rewind it and show a little bit of them. And I just say, it's going to be this, yeah, just watch this bit. And it's a great program. Detectorist, do watch it. And the Christmas special.
All right.
It's, perfect television.
Oh.
A 5-star television program.
Oh, good stuff. I might have to pick that up. All right, but in the meantime, let's go to something that is not as highly rated or will not be highly as rated by anybody on the podcast, and I know that because I'm the one who's seen it, and that is Spies. That's Spies in Disguise. Now, this is an animated movie, and so obviously I had to go watch it because that is my purview on this show. If it's animated, I'm watching it because we know Sharon definitely isn't. Sean,
I'm not going to be there.
Yes,
I watch the odd ones. Yeah, if I think I'm going to like them. I haven't seen that many, I must be honest. In the meantime, I mean, Toy Story, does that count anime?
That's
Toy Story animated,
So I watched that. I mean,
that was my film last year. That was my animated film of last year.
I think you had 3, didn't you? You were trying to.
I ended up with 2. No, I did 2.
Two. That's right. But that's because Sharon's really nice because you got a friend. You took a friend, so that was nice.
Well, I get. I like, if you value my friendship, you will have to go. I went to see Frozen 2.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'm glad you reminded me because I was back in my brain thinking, what was the other one I went to see?
Yeah.
But yeah, Frozen 2.
I took that as a random. That wasn't like, I didn't know that was one you went to see. But
there were 2. I saw Toy Story 4 and Frozen 2. They were my animated for last year.
Yeah.
And I think Frozen 2, I think, should qualify me to have like a free pass for the next 2 years.
I mean, I should go and see a few more animated ones. I know I should, because there's a few that look quite good. But most of them, I mean, it's like that. It seems really pointy, what I call pointy animation, like skinny, like that Minions thing with that Gru and all that. And
yeah.
You know what I mean? They seem to be all pointy noses and squares and points.
I get the eyes do me. They're just these huge, abnormally weird eyes. With the Frozen characters, the only thing I'm really distracted by thinking, those eyes, if that was a real person, their eyes would be like 2/3 of their face.
Yeah, that's it.
It would be terrifying.
They would. But it's like the Spies in Disguise, the ones you've seen. I saw the picture for it when I see what times are at the cinema, and obviously they got the little posters.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I was busy whenever that was on.
And he looks like a smaller version of the vampire in
Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah, that one. They look. Is it the same animators? I assume it's probably the same animators.
No, this. I think this is DreamWorks. And
wait, okay.
Yeah, I actually don't know. But okay, yeah, Spies in Disguise. All right. Oh, Sharon, rest to be assured, every now and then there's an animated movie that I try very hard to get you to go see it, because I'm like, you will like it.
Yes.
Once you see past the animation, trust me, you will like it. This is not going to be one of those.
Okay.
I mean, this is an animated movie that I think I like this. I mean, I do like it, but it's not one I'm going to be trying to get you to go watch, because it's not groundbreaking or anything like that. And the basic premise of it is that, essentially, imagine if somebody told you Will Smith is James Bond. So Will Smith is this top secret agent who, like, everybody, like, I think it's comes like Lance Sterling or something. Everybody goes, oh my God, Lance Sterling, and he's like, particularly suave, does all of his missions in a tuxedo, and he's just kind of like, the best agent in this place. You meet him at the beginning of the film, and he is doing the pre-credits Bond mission. He's doing one of those. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it is. He is so Bond, and they make absolutely no bones over the fact that we are doing a pastiche of Bond, only that he's American, and he has all the gadgets and all that kind of stuff. He's all sort of like cool. But there's a bit where he throws one of his gadgets out, and instead of it exploding, it shows up a hologram of a massive kitten face, and all the bad guys are like, oh. And he goes, what? And then he beats them up, gets out of there. Then he gets back to his place, and he's like, right, who did this? Who's been messing with my gadgets? Who's messing with my stuff? And he gets introduced to this, essentially, those fish, not the fish out of water, but the odd one out, the geek. So this is a place full of geeks, and this one is the weird one. He's the weird one who he has this whole idea about we want to use our gadgets for peace instead of trying to just sort of blow people up. Why can't we try and use the guys to bring people together? He gets fired. But then Will Smith's character gets framed for stealing the very thing that he was supposed to prevent being stolen. So when he gets framed, it becomes one of these things where you have the good guy, and the good guy has to go on the run because everybody's all around him. Everybody comes around the good guy, and the internal affairs guys are chasing him down all across the world. But so far, you might have noticed a whole bunch of different spy tropes. And
sounds like it.
Yeah, but where this goes different is that Tom Holland's character, whose name I cannot remember, I think it's Alex, he's been working on weird things at home, and he's worked on something which he says, I can make you disappear. So Will Smith goes to his house and is like, I need to disappear, and he's like, oh yeah, well, this is the technology, and he has something in his hand, and Will Smith just grabs it without thinking and just drinks it. Oh, not Will Smith, but the Will Smith character, Lance Sterling, and he drinks it, and the thing that he's been working on to make people disappear turns him into a pigeon. And
okay.
Yes, and this is where the film diverges. I
wasn't seeing that coming.
Exactly. This is where the film diverges. Because he's like, think about it. Pigeons are everywhere. Nobody pays any attention to pigeons whatsoever. And so if you're a pigeon and you're a spy, it's the perfect disguise. So here's the Spies in Disguise stuff. And then there you go. From that point on, it becomes like, okay, let's try and do a spy movie. But imagine if James Bond was a pigeon. And imagine if James Bond was trying to do all the James Bond stuff that he usually does, but as a pigeon. How would that work? And so there's a lot of fun to be had, because this film, the people who made this film know the spy genre inside and out. They know James Bond inside and out, and they just have a whole bunch of absurd fun with thinking, imagine if that was a pigeon in that scene. Imagine if a pigeon had to drive a car. Imagine it. And it's at the heart of the whole thing, you know that there's going to be a moral in there about, like, you know, because at the beginning, the Lance Sterling character is like, no, I work alone. Nobody works with me. Go away, and all that kind of stuff. You know where that's going. You know, if he says he's going to work alone at the beginning, you know what's going to happen at the end. And you know that, like, you know, there's a whole thing about the Tom Holland character where they're like, yeah, you're the weirdo and everything like that. It's like, it's okay to be weird. So you know the morals are coming. The bit that's a bit different is that bear in mind this is a film for kids, and the central message seems to be, instead of looking to blow things up and fight people, how about if we try and figure out a way of bringing people together, which is kind of like, you're like, all right, okay, that is different. And I can see kind of like, or for me, I think it's a bit of a subversive way of trying to get kids to think a certain way. Like there's some stuff about gluten-free in there and all that kind of stuff, but you can see how it's possible that they're beginning to sort of, you could see it as indoctrination of kids or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, all kids films do that, and I just think that this one is a little bit different. It's a little bit, you know exactly where it's going, you know how things are going to go. But I feel like some of the action sequences are actually genuinely fun. They're genuinely fun to watch. There's some, as you can imagine, in a film.
How many stars are you going to give it then, Tosin?
I'm going to give it 3. But as you can imagine, in a film in which a spy gets turned into a pigeon, there's some really, really weird things, and there's some different scenes in it, and I quite like it. But I'll give it a 3. But it is a good 3.
Got some highlights. Okay.
It's got some highlights, but it is a good 3. All right, and now we get on to the final thing for this particular emergency podcast, and that is His Dark Materials. Sharon, do you want to take it away and tell us about His Dark Materials?
Yeah, it's based on a book that I haven't read, by Philip Pullman, in which there are seemingly, I don't think this is a spoiler, but there are parallel worlds.
Yeah.
And they're like layered. These different worlds and different realities are sort of layered one on top of the other. And we go into one world where everyone has a familiar that's called like a demon, and that's like there's like an animal companion.
Yeah.
So the main character in me, and it's when you sort of hit sort of puberty, I suppose, your familiar sort of takes on a permanent form.
Yes.
But up until that point, it can transform itself. So it may start off as a mouse and then become a rabbit and then become a dog. I don't know what the rules of the game are because I don't know. I haven't read the books. But your familiar doesn't choose its own form, or it doesn't settle on a form until they both sort of hit that, like, have their like a bar mitzvah type thing where they're recognised as being an adult.
Yeah.
So we meet the main character is a girl called Lara, and she's grown up in a university town where she's been put by her uncle. She's an orphan, as we're told at the beginning, and she has a familiar called
Pantimilon.
Pantimilon.
Yeah.
Right. And so they then start to become aware of the wider world, and that there's more to the world than they first think. And then a mystery unfolds in that, about her identity, who she really is, and about the nature of the world, the fact that there may be more than what they see, and there's a thing called dust, and dust is what holds the whole universe together. And there's a group of people called the Magisterium, who are like the Catholic Church. Basically, they're all powerful and all seeing, and they want to control what people understand about dust and about what people understand about the world. So any suggestion that you may know of more than you think, they come down upon you like a ton of bricks. So they're the Magisterium, and they're almost like the Inquisition in that they are scary and powerful, and they have certain rights to go into certain places, regardless of your status or your role in life. So she's aware of this Magisterium and the world at large, but she overhears a conversation about dust, and so she becomes a bit curious about that. And at the same time, small children start to disappear from the gypsy community and from her university town, and so they're aware that they're these child snatchers. And as the story goes on, all these different elements begin to sort of combine. Her seeking her identity, one of her pals is kidnapped, so trying to find him, and also trying to work out what it is all about. Roger, where's Roger? And to find out about what dust is. And so as the series goes on, you begin to get some questions, but then some answers as well. Mm-hmm. So yes, it's a world. It's a world building.
It's quite
series.
Yeah, it's quite a densely packed world. So okay, so Sharon, you said you've never read the books. I've read the original trilogy. I've read all of them, and I watched this as well. But could you? So you've made no secret of the fact that you're a Christian. I mean, you're sat in your church right now. Did that have anything to do with you never reading the books?
No, I'm aware that he's an atheist, and I'm aware that he's one of these.
That's Philip Pullman, the original author.
Philip Pullman, the author, and I'm aware that he wanted to basically write a book to challenge the sort of dominance of like the Narnia Chronicles for children. So he wanted to write his version of the Narnia Chronicles. And so he's made no bones of the fact that he regards the church and Christianity as being a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
I've got no problem with that. He's allowed to think that Christianity is ridiculous and the church is a nonsense because, you know, in some ways the church can be ridiculous. I don't think Christianity is because obviously I believe it.
Yeah.
But so I have no objection per se to the books. I just haven't read them because, again, it sort of fits in with that strand of children's books that I was too old to read them as a child, and they weren't something I was going to read for my own benefit as an adult. But I haven't read any of the Harry Potters for the same reason.
So are they young? It's for young people.
They're aimed at young people. They're not aimed at children. I think they're more aimed at teenagers. The YA sort of market. Would you say?
Yeah. I would say so. I mean, there's some stuff in there that it goes into some sort of philosophical and dark places. So I think it's more for people who are around by that age where they're beginning to question the world.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I was going to say,
which is pretty much what Lyra does.
Not to the same degree.
Not to the same degree.
Though she does question the world around her, but not to the same degree. But no, I haven't not read it for any particular moral reasons.
Okay, so what did you think of the TV show then?
Well, I thought it was very good. I mean, the world building took me a little while to get on top of because it was completely new to me. So part of me was thinking, I'm not entirely sure I understand all the nuances of what's going on. And obviously, there's a sort of trail of breadcrumbs that probably lead me somewhere that I was completely unaware of. And so a few things I'm thinking, I think this is probably significant, but I don't really know why.
Yeah.
So I was in my head, I was thinking I need to remember some of this stuff, but because it's probably going to be significant later.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I thought this was very well done, very well acted. All the casting seemed to be spot on. They created this world that's like ours, but they're not. Very well. And so, I thought it was very engaging. So I did enjoy it, but I was aware when I was watching it that I'm probably not getting as much as I probably should.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I agree with you. I think it's a very, very good series. And it's there's some nuances that they put in there, especially when they do the demons, which are essentially their souls. Like the way that they do, like the way they interact with their souls and what it tells you about the person. I'm like, I just thought I think if you read the books, there's a lot more depth to them. But if you haven't read the books, they've done a very good job of having like this world and building it and drawing you in. And for anybody who has read the books and is watching it and thinking, hang on a second, I don't remember that in the books. That is because they have actually, they've included elements from definitely the second book in this, because this is largely an adaptation of the first story. It starts it ends in the same place. It roughly starts in the same place as the first story, but they have elements in it in which they start bringing in things from there's characters in this who do not show up until the second book. But I think that they did a very good job of actually adapting it, because as you can imagine, they've tried it before in a film. The film flopped because they tried to remove all of the things that made it really, really important, like made it good and important. But I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. And my wife, who is a massive Philip Pullman fan, she just loved it. She was like, oh my God, this is so good. And all I can say is, oh, Roger. The kid who played Roger, Llewyn Lloyd, is awesome. I think the casting is awesome. I think everybody, James McAvoy, Ruth Wilson, Daphne Keane is a bit iffy sometimes as Lyra. But generally speaking, I thought that the casting was spot on. And the effects are amazing for a TV show. I think best effects.
They've obviously put the money into it to make it.
Yeah.
The production values just through the sky.
Yeah, best effects since Game of Thrones. So how many stars would you give it?
I would give it a 4. I think it was very well done. It was entertaining television, and yeah, I thought it was very well done indeed. So yeah, I'd give it a 4.
Yep, I would agree with you. I think it's a 4 for me. It's a 4 for me. But speaking about the special effects being the best since Game of Thrones, this is a joint thing between the BBC and HBO. So it kind of makes sense because they make Game of Thrones. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So it seems like thank you very much. We finished our emergency pod, and it seems like this second half was better. Well, if I looked at what we spoke about last week and combined it with this, it seems like we had one particular round that was a bit of a stinker, which was the Cats versus Six Underground round.
Yeah.
Oh, good lord.
That's been good lord, yeah.
But anyway, okay. But with this week, with everything, it's been pretty even, and I think it's pretty easy seeing who's won this week. But I'm still going to ask, who do you guys think has won this week?
I think TV and Netflix and Friends have won this week.
Yeah.
Netflix, yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, it is Netflix and Friends and it's simply by dint of the fact that His Dark Materials is the only thing this week or this time round that we have given a 4. Everything else was a 3. So all in all, not a bad week. Go watch any of these things.
Bad week.
Yeah. Go watch any of these things. You will have fun. But yeah, His Dark Materials, I think it is particularly quite good. And I think they ended it in the right place. So you come back and see season 2, which is going to get even convoluted. I'm going to be interested to see what they do with season 3, because the third book goes gonzo. It goes mad. The third book. I mean, I remember reading. I remember scenes from the third book, and I'm like, am I remembering that right? And I go, Claude, did this actually happen, or am I just making that up? Did I just have a bad dream? She was like, no, that happens. so yeah, it's pretty good. So I think all that's left to say is thank you very much to the both of you. Thank you very much for allowing yourselves to be bullied on my birthday.
And we will say
You're
yes.
welcome.
Thank
Happy
you,
birthday.
and have a good rest of your day.
Have a good rest of the day.
Whatever that
I
turns
will do.
into.
I will do. Thank you very much. And all that's left to say is a goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
And a goodbye from me.
We will see you guys soon. Thank you.